Alam naman natin mga kotsero na kahapon ay inatake na naman tayo ng China. Or isang araw pala. Inatake na naman ng China ang Pilipinas. At ayun nga, no, yung Chinese Coast Guard natin sa Escoda Shoal, yung Philippine Coast Guard natin na si Teresa Magbanwa, BRP Teresa Magbanwa, dyan sa Escoda Shoal ay 3 beses na paulit-ulit na binangga ng Chinese Coast Guard. Alam na natin lahat yan, napag-usapan na natin yan kahapon. At dahil dito sa ganap na to, nag-aaklas na nagagalit na naman yung mga kaalyansa natin. Nagagalit na naman sila. Ito yung balita tungkol dyan.
Umani naman ng pagkundina mula sa iba't ibang bansa ang panibagong pangaharas ng China laban sa mga barko ng Pilipinas sa West Philippine Sea. Yan ang ulat ni Denise Osorio.
Matapos ang muling panghaharas ng China sa Pilipinas, kinondena ng ilang mga bansa at ng National Maritime Council ang mapanganib na aksyon na nagpapataas lalo ng tensyon sa West Philippine Sea. Sa pahayag ng National Maritime Council, gagamitin pa rin ng Pilipinas ang mga diplomatic channel at mekanismo nito sa ilalim ng rules-based international order. Patuloy rin na mananatili ang operasyon ng BRP Teresa Magbanwa sa West Philippine Sea at patuloy na igigiit ang ating soberanya sa mga maritime zone nito. Tiniyak rin ng
Antindi rin ng BRP Teresa Magbanwa, talagang hindi sila aalis. Doon sila nagre-repair. Nakita nyo ba? Napanood nyo ba yung balita tungkol dyan? Doon sila nagre-repair mismo sa Escoda Shoal. Pinupukpok nila yung gilid na gano'n. Kung kayo ay nasa US, UK, Canada, Italy, France, Spain, Ireland, and Belgium, ay pwede na kayo padala na inyong mga remittances sa Pilipinas gamit po ang Sendwave. Ang gagawin nyo lang ay download ng Sendwave app, gumawa kayo ng account, lagay nyo ba account details, at pwede na kayo magpadala sa GCash, Cash Pickup at iba't ibang mga bangko sa Pilipinas. At kapag ginamit nyo pa kayong promo code na Coach Jared, sa inyo pong unang padala ay makakakuha pa kayo ng karagdagan $20 free credit. Kaya gamitin na si Sendwave for all of your remittance needs. But anyway, ayun na nga, dun sila nag-aayos sa Escoda Shoal mismo. Patindi-tindi yung ginagawa ng ating Philippine Coast Guard dyan. Dapat talaga, deserve ng palakpak ng mga Philippine Coast Guard natin dyan sa Escoda Shoal. Grabe yun. Matindi na itong mga to. In fairness sa kanila.
NMC na hindi magpapatalo ang Pilipinas sa ginagawang harassment at agresibong ikinikilos ng China sa nasabing rehiyon. Tinawag naman ni US Department of State spokesperson Matthew Miller na isang provocative action ang ginawang hakbang ng China. Dagdag pa niya, pinaninindigan nila ang alyansa nila sa Pilipinas sa harap ng hindi nararapat na pagsalakay ng China, habang pinapanawagan naman niya ang China na agaran ng itigil ang pagiging agresibo nito. Anila, patuloy na itataguyod ng Estados Unidos ang freedom of navigation at iginiit na mauudyok ang Mutual Defense Treaty sa pagitan ng US at Pilipinas kung mauulit ang kung anumang pag-atake sa Pilipinas. Kinundena rin ng bansang Taiwan ang tahasang paglabag ng China sa international law. Ayon sa Taiwan Ministry of Foreign Affairs, ang patuloy na pagbaliwala ng China sa rules-based order ay nagpapalala lamang sa regional instability. Anila, hindi dapat masindap ang Pilipinas o alinmang bansa sa mga hakbang ng China. Labis namang nababahala si Japanese Ambassador Endo Kazuya sa pinakahuling insidente na sangkot ang mga barko ng Pilipinas at China. Aniya, mahalaga na magkaroon ng mapayapang dialogo sa pagresolba ng hidwaan alinsunod sa international law.
Actually, yun nga ang ideal scenario, di ba? The ideal scenario, mga kochero, is maikipag-usap ang China. Yun yung ideal scenario. Another ideal scenario, mga kochero, ay susunod si China sa kung ano yung napag-usapan. Yan yung isa pang ideal scenario, guys. Kaso hindi nila ginagawa yun eh. Hindi sila marunong nun eh. Nagkaroon na tayo nung usapan eh. Sometime in June or July, if I'm not mistaken. Nagkaroon na tayo ng usapan at nagkaroon ng agreement to mutually, ibig sabihin, magkasama, mutually resolve or at least tone down the tensions dyan sa West Philippine Sea. Sumunod ba ang China? Hindi. Diba? Hindi naman sila sumusunod eh. Kaya nga mga kochero, ito yung nakakaloko dyan. Yun yung nakakaloko. Nakakaloko na si China can do all of these things and get away with it. Atin.
Tado rin ng bansang Australia ang Pilipinas kung saan sinabi nitong hindi katanggap-tanggap ang naging hakbang ng China na nakakaapekto sa kapayapaan at katatagan sa rehiyon. Habang patuloy na lumalala ang sitwasyon sa West Philippine Sea dahil sa di pagkakaunawaan sa pagitan ng Pilipinas at ng China, patuloy na nagiging isang hamon sa panrehiyong seguridad at international diplomacy ang pagkabahala sa rehiyon. Denise Osorio para sa Pambansang TV sa Bagong Pilipinas.
Ayun na nga. Ay, ulit. Ayan. So, ayun na nga. Ito yung sinabi sa balita kanina. Pero kanina kasi nagkakalkal pa ako ng mga iba pang mga balita tungkol sa West Philippine Sea. At sa mga nagaganap nga na issue tungkol dyan sa West Philippine Sea. Napadpad ako dito sa isang YouTube channel. I'm sure alam niyo itong YouTube channel na to. Si Taiwan Talks. Si Taiwan Talks kasi, meron siyang parang segment, si Taiwan Talks. At pinag-uusapan nila yung mga iba't ibang issue between yung mga maritime disputes ng Taiwan, Philippines, China, and all of that. Pero nakatutok si Taiwan Talks usually syempre sa Taiwan kasi syempre Taiwan Talks nga. pero ito nga, meron napanood kanina. Ito, medyo mahaba lang. This is around 19. Medyo pangit ang mukha ni ate dito. Sorry na, Chi Fei Fan. Sorry na agad. Medyo na, sabi ko, parang this is interesting kasi usually kasi ang alam lang natin, kaya ang interest ni China sa Pilipinas is yung resources. Yun lang ang iniisip natin kadalasan yung oil, yung yung oil, yung what else? Yung mga minerals, yung natural resources, yung what do you call this? Yung mga isda and everything and all of that. Yun lang yung alam natin. But apparently meron pa silang mas malaking agenda aside from the resources. Yung resources pala sub-goal. Kumbaga, it's only the happy consequence kung magagawa nila itong gusto nilang gawin, itong si China. Panoorin ngayon natin to. Medyo mahaba lang. It's around 19 minutes, 25 seconds. Pasensyahan nyo na. But, I think kailangan malaman natin itong mga Pilipino Kailangan maintindihan natin to para maintindihan din natin kung bakit kailangan nating palakasin pa ang ating military. Wala na to.
Hi everyone, I'm Chi Fei Fan. If a conflict breaks out in the Taiwan Strait, is Taiwan the only one that will suffer? Let's see what President Marcos of the Philippines has to say.
Kaohsiung in Taiwan is a 40-minute flight away from my province. We feel that we're very much on the front line.
That's right. Marcos believes that if a conflict breaks out in the Taiwan Strait, the Philippines will inevitably be drawn in.
By virtue of
Today on Operation 2027, we will take a look at the clashes between China and the Philippines in the South China Sea and how a crisis in the Taiwan Strait might impact the Philippines.
So, apparently, from the perspective pala, by the way, bago tayo mag-umpisa, from the perspective pala of the Republic of Taiwan, yung invasion ay mag-uumpisa sa 2027. Apparently. Medyo malapit na yun, guys. Medyo malapit-lapit na yun, guys. Nung pinanood ko to, it made me think, napaisip ako bigla, kaya pala. So again, the resources, the natural resources, both in the sea and under the sea, in the continental shelf, and all of that, are just the happy consequence. Happy consequence na lang yun kung mangyayari itong plano ng China dito para sa 2027 na yan.
On May 15, 2024, Filipino fishermen gathered about 100 small boats and sailed toward Scarborough Shoal west of Luzon Island. Wow, are they doing a boat race? Nope. They were there to defend their sovereignty. And who are they asserting their sovereignty against? Yep, it was China. To face off with the Filipino fishermen, China dispatched 19 ships, including Coast Guard vessels, militia boats, and even a warship. I know. It's like a bunch of ants trying to take down an elephant. So, how angry were these Filipino fishermen that they had to do something like this? Let's look at the map. This is a so-called 10-dash line. China uses to claim sovereignty all over the important islands and reefs in the South China Sea. China is all the way here. This is reaching pretty far, don't you think? Almost all the neighboring countries protested. In 2016, the Philippines filed a case against China with the Permanent Court of Arbitration in The Hague. They won the case. Did this help the Philippines? Not at all. China simply ignored the ruling and continued its questionable activities in the South China Sea. In 2021, China passed a new Coast Guard...
By the way, mga kotsero, huwag niyo kong kalimutan na isa po sa mga dahilan kung bakit hindi nakatulong sa Pilipinas yung decision ng PCA, yung Permanent Court of Arbitration, ay dahil kay Digong. Huwag niyo kong kalimutan yan. That's a fact. That is a fact. Sinabi po yan ni Digong. Siya ho mismo ang nagsabi niyan. Inignore niya ang ruling ng Permanent Court of Arbitration dahil nangako si Xi Jinping ng sharing daw ng ng natural resources diyan sa West Philippine Sea. So sinadya ho niya 'yun. So kung bakit po tayo nahihirapan ngayon i-defend yung West Philippine Sea ay dahil po yan kay Digong. Kung sinasabi ni Bobby Tiglao na nawala ang Scarborough nung panahon ni Panot Aquino, tapos nung panahon daw ni Digong wala daw nawalang isla, tapos kay PBBM daw nawala daw Escoda. Mali ho siya. Bakit? Kasi nung panahon ni Digong isinuko na niya ang buong West Philippine Sea sa China. Oo, isinuko na niya ang buong West Philippine Sea sa China. Yun po yun. Oo, Mr. Bobby Tiglao. Kung mapanood niya man tong video na to. Isinuko na niya kasi ang buong West Philippine Sea sa China nung panahon na yun. Legit ho yan. I-google nyo. Google nyo yung yung sinabi ni Xi Jinping. Ignore the ruling. Sinabi niya kay Digong. So, legit yun. Walang walang bola yun. Walang bola. Tapos ito pa nga, noong 2021, nagpasa ang China ng kanilang Coast Guard Law, which essentially empowers their Coast Guard to conduct pseudo-military activities sa kahit saang teritoryo na feeling nila ay kanila.
Law. In terms of geopolitical strategy, if China controls the South China Sea, it can effectively block the U.S. military from reaching Southeast Asia. This weakens the containment capability of the first island chain. The U.S. military primarily used two routes to enter and exit the South China Sea from Guam. The Bashi Channel between Taiwan and Luzon Island of the Philippines, or a route directly through the Philippines. The Philippines is made up of many islands with waterways in between. They link the Philippine Sea and the South China Sea. The U.S. military uses these waterways to freely access the South China Sea. It can then pass through the Strait of Malacca to reach the Indian Ocean, connecting its military forces in the entire Indo-Pacific region.
Okay, balikan natin yung mapa. Dito ang Scarborough. Somewhere here. Yan, nandyan ang Scarborough. Tapos, andito yung Second Thomas Shoal. Somewhere dito, sa may bandang Palawan. Yan, dyan. So, kung titignan natin, mga kotsero, kaya gustong i-occupy ng China ang buong South China Sea. Kaya niya gustong harangin pala yung West Philippine Sea. Kasi kung maharangan niya itong Second Thomas Shoal, edi kontrolado na niya yung sa may Luzon Strait. Kung kontrolado niya itong sa may Second Thomas Shoal, O di kontrolado niya itong sa ilalim. Yung daanan mismo ng Navy ng Amerika. Yan. This also, mga kotsero, is konektado din to sa economic survival ng China. Bakit? Tanggalin lang
Taiwan and
tanggalin yung
Luzon
kamay.
Island of the Philippines
Tanggalin mo
or a
kamay mo, te.
route directly through the Philippines.
Okay,
The
mamaya na lang.
Philippines is made of many islands with waterways in between. They link the Philippine Sea and the South China Sea. The U.S.
Yan. Pause natin dito. Ito pa, mga kotsero. Ito kasi, ito yung mainland China. Yan, di ba? Hanggang dito sa isla na yan. Ito yung mainland China. Takaya nga natin. Yan. Ito yung mainland. Andito yung Scarborough, andito yung Second Thomas Shoal. So, pag naharangan na to ni China, pag kontrolado niya to, kontrolado na niya yung Luzon Strait. Pag kontrolado niya to, kontrolado na rin niya yung ito sa ilalim papunta Malaysia at saka yung gitna na dinadaanan nga ng Navy ng US. Mga kotsero, kapag nagawa niyang kontrolin yan, malaya siyang makakapaglayag ng mga barko niya papunta ng India. Ito yun yung Malacca Strait. Yan. Papunta naman ng Indian Ocean yan. Kasi kapag ito naipit, gutom ang China. Walang trade na pupunta ng China So kapag naipit sila dito, wala, gutom ang China. Pero mga kotsero, ito pang isa. Kapag inipit naman ito ng China, itong buong region na to, kontrolado na niya, in effect, kontrolado na niya yung buong Southeast Asia. Kasi, siya ang magsasabi kung sinong mga trade ang papasok at saan sila dadaan. At saan sila magbabagsak ng kanilang mga produkto. Yun. Kontrolado na niya yung ekonomiya nito. Ang dumadaan po dito, mga kotsero, sa South China Sea, if I'm not mistaken, umabot ng 1-something trillion per year. Trillion US dollars. Trillion na US dollars yan per year. So, that's secondary na lang. Secondary na lang yan. Pero ang primary, mga kotsero, sa short-term goal nila, ang short-term goal nila, di ba sabi 2027? Di ba sabi sa 100th year ng Chinese Communist Party, mayu-unify nila ang China kasama ng Taiwan. Mayu-unify nila yung Taiwan sa China. Kapag na-control itong Luzon Strait ng China, mas madali nilang matatalo ang mga kaalyansa ng Taiwan sa in case pumasok sila, mag-invade sila sa Taiwan. Ganon din dito sa Second Thomas Shoal. Kaya kating-kati sila. Naghahanda sila sa invasion. So gets naman natin. So yun yung short-term goal, and right now yun yung gusto nilang gawin. Yung yung oil, yung langis, yung resources, etc., secondary na lang yan. Secondary na lang yan. Oo. Pangalawa na lang yun. Pero ang primary nila, etong Taiwan. At para makuha nila si Taiwan, kailangan maipit nila si US at yung mga kaalyado ng Taiwan. Paano nila gagawin yan? Kokontrolin nila ang Luzon Strait sa pamamagitan ng Scarborough at yung pagpasok ng militar ng Amerika sa pamamagitan ng Second Thomas Shoal at ng Escoda Shoal. Oo, kasi yung Escoda Shoal, mga kotsero, mas malapit yun sa Pilipinas. Doon ang launch papunta ng Second Thomas Shoal. Kaya tingnan nyo, dun sila sa dalawang lugar na yun, gigil na gigil. Diba? Pero hanggang ngayon, gigil na gigil sila dyan. Anyway, tuloy natin ang video.
Military uses these waterways to freely access the South China Sea. It can then pass through this Strait of Malacca to reach the Indian Ocean, connecting its military forces in the entire Indo-Pacific region. If China wants to undermine U.S. military movements, it must find a way to block these two routes. For the first route, China frequently sends warplanes and ships into the southwestern waters of Taiwan to practice blockading the Bashi Channel.
Or Luzon Strait.
For the second route, China's goal is to establish military strongholds on the western side of the Philippines that can stop the U.S. military from passing through the Philippines waterways. This is why China and the Philippines clashes over Scarborough Shoal and Second Thomas Shoal. These reefs are located...
Mga kutsero, ang Escoda somewhere here. Mas malapit sa Palawan yun. And somewhere here, Escoda. Diyan sa araw na yan. Kaya mga kutsero, kung papansinin nyo, gigil na gigil yan. Gigil na gigil talaga ang China dyan sa dalawang yan. Kasi nga dito nga dumadaan ng US military. By the way, mga kutsero, sinasabi ni Digong nung panahon niya na hindi siya nakikipagtrabaho sa US military. It's a bunch of lies. It's a bunch of lies. Bakit? Kasi mga kutsero, maski ho nung panahon ni Digong, dumadaan ang submarine ng China dyan dito sa Visayas region. Dumadaan sila dyan, tumatawid sila dyan. Ganun. Maski ho nung panahon ni Digong, nagpapaalam sila sa Pilipinas na para kasi territorial waters ng Pilipinas yan eh. Papaalam sila. Pero nakakatawid sila dyan. Labas-pasok sila dyan nung panahon ni Digong. Mga submarine. Oh. Pinapakilaman ba ng China? Hindi. Takot din eh.
At the entry and exit points of these waterways. If China takes control of these reefs and installs missiles there, it can effectively block the U.S. military from passing through. The Philippines is now facing an unprecedented crisis with China. Historically, the Philippines has managed to avoid major disputes, being geographically distant from both China and Vietnam. In addition, the 1951 Mutual Defense Treaty with the United States stationed the U.S. troops in the country, who basically became their bodyguards, shielding the Philippines from harm despite its frontline position in the Cold War. This is why, until recent years, the Philippines' military primary focus was suppressing domestic anti-government forces. Now, things are different. Now the Philippines is facing an external threat from China. China's Coast Guard and PLA Navy have more than 520 vessels, including aircraft carriers, destroyers, frigates, and submarines. China have deployed over 160 large ships in the South China Sea alone. On the other hand, the Philippine Navy and Coast Guard have about 280 ships, but only 2 of them, 1 frigate and 1 patrol vessel, exceed 1,000 tons.
Maliliit.
The majority are smaller boats, so they cannot match China's maritime power. The PLA Air Force has over 3,150 aircrafts, whereas the Philippine Air Force has only 26 fighter jets. So, they are also outnumbered in the air. What can the Philippines do? Get stronger! Last May, the Philippines ordered the 6 new offshore patrol vessels from South Korea. And at the beginning of this year, the country launched the 3rd phase of its military modernization with an expected investment of $35.62 billion. This money will be used to enhance intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities and maritime and aerial deterrence in the South China Sea. They also say that acquiring submarines is a must. The Philippines is building up its arsenal while at the same time seeking to make more friends. Of course, the most important friend is their big bro, the United States. Although former President Duterte chose to distance himself from the U.S. and cozy up to China, current President Marcos immediately turned to the U.S. for cooperation upon taking office. Through the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement signed by the U.S. and the Philippines in 2014, the Philippines not only opened up its existing 5 military bases, but also added 4 more for American use. Big Bro's response was also quite enthusiastic.
Ito mga kutsero, ito yung ano dyan eh. Ito yung, sorry papost ako ng post. Itong sa Balabac Island, ito yung pinakamalapit sa Escoda eh. So malamang sa malamang kung magkakaroon ng military base diyan. Mukhang kaya naalala nyo nung pumayag ang Pilipinas sa bagong EDCA sites, gigil na gigil yung mga pro-China sympathizers. Oo, yung mga nakaka-receive ng allowance galing kay kala niya, kay Martin Andanar. Gigil na gigil, nagsisigaw eh. Kasi mga kochero, yung bagong EDCA sites is strategically located to prevent an invasion of Taiwan. Balabac Island, mga kochero. Ito yung pinakamalapit sa Escoda, tsaka pinakamalapit sa Second Thomas Shoal. Lalo Airport sa Cagayan, ito yung Camilo Osillas Naval Base sa Santa Ana, Cagayan. Ito yung pinakamalapit naman saan? Sa Luzon Strait sa Bashi Channel. Well, sige, abangan pa natin.
Providing $660 million to help the Philippines repair airports and build runways. Because they will make it easier for the U.S. to park its planes there. Train the Philippine Air Force there. Why is the U.S. so enthusiastic about supporting the Philippines? Because it directly impacts U.S. interests. If China gains control of the South China Sea, it would allow the PLA Navy to freely maneuver into the Philippine Sea.
Yun.
If China controls the Bashi Channel up north, they could traverse the Miyako Strait to directly threaten areas like Guam and the Mariana Islands, which are part of the second island chain defense line. China conducted military exercise in the Philippine Sea in both April and September of last year, mobilizing its newest aircraft carrier group led by the Shandong. Therefore, we can see how U.S. investments in the Cesar Basa Air Base and Antonio Batista Air Base are precisely aimed at monitoring the Bashi Channel and the South China Sea. In addition to the U.S., the Philippines has also been sending friend requests to Japan and Australia, both located in the first island chain. The Philippines has purchased 4 sets of air defense radars from Japan, and the two countries have discussed the possibility of stationing troops in each other's territories. And in April of this year, the Philippines invited Australia to participate in the largest ever joint military exercise with the United States. Together, they demonstrated the resolve of island chain countries to counter China's expansion. By the way, these exercises were held in the Batanes Islands, right here,
sa Taiwan.
because it is the closest point to Taiwan.
Correct.
Still, the Philippine military stated that this joint military exercise was not directed at Taiwan, but I think it's obvious that the Chinese threat to Taiwan is something that the Philippines cannot ignore. Let's look at why.
那这次他借着美菲这个联合的演习，那么他又选到的地方是靠近台湾的地方，他给出一种信号说，万一有些冲突的话，美菲是联盟，那么菲律宾靠近台湾的这边的这些基地，它是有用处的，这是也是一种嚇阻的信號啦。
Firstly, there are over 150
Ito yung sinasabi ng mga pro-China sympathizers na yung Marcos administration daw nilalapit tayo sa gera. Alam nyo mga kochero, whether we like it or not, kapag in-invade ni China ang Taiwan, damay tayo. May base militar o wala, damay tayo. Oo. May Amerika o wala, damay tayo. Oo. Ganun lang yun eh. Ganun lang kasimple yun. It's stupid to think na iisipin ng China na, uy, pinili ng Pilipinas maging neutral. Baka naman, wag na natin silang pasukin. It's stupid. It's stupid with a capital S. Mangyayari yun. Baka nga gamitin pa ng baka nga gamitin pa ni China na launching area ang Batanes. Pasukin niya yung Batanes. Baka gamitin pa niya launching area yung Cagayan. Yung Ilocos Norte. Kasi yun ang pinakamalapit sa Taiwan eh. Hindi malabo mangyari yun. Kung si Digong ang presidente or kung si Sara ang presidente, baka i-volunteer pa niya yan. Baka sabihin pa niya sa China, "Oh, China, ito ang Batanes, kayo nang gumamit." 'Di ba? "Oh, China, ito Ilocos Norte, tayo kayo ng base diyan. Go!" Oo. Ganon. Ganon ang mangyayari diyan. Alam niyo mga kochero, it is ignorant. Or siguro it's naive na lang. Yun na lang. Wag tayo masyadong harsh. It's naive to think that i-absuelto ng China ang Pilipinas. Or i-exempt ng China ang Pilipinas if an invasion happens. Huwag niyo kalimutan na ang komunismo is an expansionist ideology. Ibig sabihin, pakalat siya, palaki. Magkakamkam ng teritoryo yan. Yan po ang ideolohiya ng komunismo. So let's say, maging successful sila sa Taiwan. What's stopping them from taking over the Philippines? What's stopping them from making the Philippines an actual province of China? Hindi na yung gino-joke ni Digonggong. What's stopping? What's stopping China from doing that? Wala. Anyway, tuloy natin 'tong video.
50,000 Filipino nationals working in Taiwan. If China were to attack Taiwan, the Philippine government would face the extremely challenging task of evacuating its citizens. President Marcos himself has stated that allowing the U.S. military to use their bases is partially aimed at facilitating the rescue of Filipino nationals from Taiwan in the event of a Chinese invasion. Secondly, Taiwan has always been a crucial buffer state between the global superpowers of China and the U.S. Due to various reasons, Taiwan has borne the brunt of much of the pressure along the First Island chain. If China were to invade Taiwan, the Philippines would become the next buffer state in line. Furthermore, if China wins in the Taiwan Strait, it would embolden its buffer state between the global superpowers of China and the U.S. Due to various reasons, Taiwan has borne the brunt of much of the pressure along the First Island chain. If China were to invade Taiwan, the Philippines would become the next buffer state in line.
Ready na ba kayong gawin yan? Mangyari sa Pilipinas yan? Ready na kayo? Ready na kayo? Ready na kayo na i-invade tayo yung isunod ni China after ni Taiwan? Baka kasi hindi yan naiisip ng mga DDS eh. Oo. Baka kasi hindi nila naiisip yan. Ipaisip natin sa kanila.
Furthermore, if China wins in the Taiwan Strait, it would embolden its expansion efforts, and their next target would likely to be the South China Sea. China could even install missiles in the southern Taiwan, posing a direct threat to Luzon Island, where the Philippine capital Manila is located. Therefore, maintaining the status quo in the Taiwan Strait is the least risky option for the Philippines. Thirdly, according to the data from the Philippine Statistics Authority, in 2023, goods imported from China accounted for 21.1% of the Philippines' total imports, while goods from Taiwan accounted for 7.7%. This shows that the Philippines maintains a significant trade relationship with both Taiwan and China. A conflict in the Taiwan Strait would have a serious impact on these supply chains, since the Philippines is heavily dependent on imports from China and Taiwan. Electronics, for instance, are the largest category of imported goods for the Philippines, accounting for 22.2% of its total imports, followed by mineral fuels and lubricants, accounting for 18.8%. If a conflict in the Taiwan Strait were to disrupt these supply chains, the Philippines would face shortages of goods, severely affecting its production capabilities. China and Taiwan are also major destinations for Philippine exports, especially in the electronics sector. In 2023, electronics accounted for 54.2% of the Philippines' total exports, with a significant portion going to China and Taiwan. A crisis in the Taiwan Strait would lead to a sharp drop in demand, impacting the Philippine export business and domestic economic growth. No matter how you look at it, a conflict in the Taiwan Strait would be bad for the Philippines. It seems the best approach for the Philippines is to maintain a unified front against China with its allies in the island chain under the assistance of the United States. The more allies stand together, the greater the deterrent against China's ambitions, and the lower the risk of war. But keep in mind, this alliance currently does not include Taiwan due to diplomatic considerations. The Philippine government has not officially recognized Taiwan and cannot engage in military cooperation with it, like it does with the United States and Japan. The Philippine government has also avoided taking a stance on how it would respond in the event of a war in the Taiwan Strait. Finally, I want to come back to what we talked about at the beginning. The troop of tiny ants go against the elephant. A lot of you might assume that Filipino fishermen sailing against China's navy was a waste of time, that they were too weak, that they should not embarrass themselves. But the truth is, these ants were actually quite effective. First, these actions carry strong symbolic meanings. It signaled to the international communities that the Philippines would not easily relinquish its sovereignty. In fact, this incident successfully attracted widespread coverage from both domestic and international media outlets. Second, this movement...
And mga kotsero, very effective yung ginawa ng Philippine Coast Guard recently. Ito pala, yung simula na umupo si PBBM, yung lagi nilang pinapahiya si China. Kasi mga kotsero, if there's one thing na gustong or talagang pinanggigilan ni China when it comes to its affairs, is ayaw nilang ma-perceive sila as the enemy. Ayaw nila yung ganyong iniisipan sila na masasama sila. Gusto nila sila yung benevolent superpower, parang ganun. Gusto nila sila yung imahe na sila yung nagbibigay, sila yung matulungin, sila yung mabait, etc. etc. Kaya nga 'di ba kung papansin niyo yung dun sa inexpose na secret agreement ni Duterte. Oo. Yung sa secret agreement ni Duterte, kung maalala nyo, kasama dun sa agreement na yon ay hindi magpapalabas ng mga nangyayari sa West Philippine Sea. Bakit? Para hindi mapahiya si China. Nagkaroon ng transparency initiative itong si Philippine Coast Guard. Wala. Kaya mga kotsero, imagine yung panic nila ngayon na na-expose na naman sila na sila yung aggressor at sinadya na binabangga yung mga barko ng Pilipinas. Yan. Feeling ko nagpapanik sila ngayon ng damage control. Pero wala eh. Paano mo lalabanan ng katotohanan? Paano mo lalabanan ng kapekean ng katotohanan? Mahirap yun eh.
Effectively placed political pressure on both the Philippines government and the international community. The mobilization reflected the fishermen's grassroots concern and their dissatisfaction with the country's passive handling of China's behavior. Third, their movement raised public awareness and support for defending the Philippines territory, inspiring more people to join in an effort to uphold national sovereignty. Fourth, the actions of the Filipino fishermen might potentially lead to more backing from the international community, especially from countries that support freedom of navigation and oppose expansionism. Of course, these actions were not without risks. The Filipino fishermen definitely put themselves in danger when they square off with China's powerful maritime forces. And their high-stakes standoff could have escalated further, amplifying tensions in the South China Sea. What's more, no one knows for sure how the Philippines' hard-nosed strategy toward China will play out in the long run. After the most recent scuffle in the South China Sea, will China face any repercussions from the Philippines and its international allies?
又那么个蛋蛋哦，
因为菲律宾实在没有这个能力跟中国做军事冲突。如果要军事冲突，一定美国要加入。那美国要加入这个军事冲突，他会考虑的是一个区域的一个整个抗中、整个这个两极世界抗争的，它不是那么容易，就因为一个小小的礁，就突然就产生军事冲突。我不觉得美国会 这么样的不谨慎。
But what I really want to emphasize
Ako agree ako dun sa sinabi ni Kuya. Oh, I don't think si US, and I think alam din ng Pilipinas to, kaya hindi masyadong gumagalaw si Pilipinas pagdating sa issue dito ng China. Bakit naka-focus ang Pilipinas sa pag-develop ng ating sariling capabilities? Alam ni Philippines, alam ng Pilipinas, alam ni PBBM na si Amerika hindi yan basta-basta makikigulo. For whatever reason, probably to, di ba? For self-preservation ng Amerika, it's, probably that. We don't really know. Pero mga kotsero, agree ako sa sinabi nung in-interview niya ni ate na masyadong maliit na bagay pa yun nangyayari sa West Philippine Sea. Although, syempre, sinasabi ng Amerika na nandiyan kami, nakasuporta kami sa Pilipinas, etc., etc. But, hanggang dun lang yun. Kaya nga, di ba, sabi ko kagabi, nung nag-livestream tayo, I think si Pilipinas should start countering or using the gray zone tactics of China against China. Kasi, although mas maliit ang Pilipinas, how much more of this thing, of this abuse can we take, di ba? Para ba tayong battered wife or battered husband na tiis-tiis na lang dahil wala pa, hindi ko pa kayang lumaban eh. Or paraan na ba tayo? Ano bang magandang paraan? Di ba? It's not an easy decision to make. Kaya naiintindihan ko rin yung administration ng Marcos administration kung bakit they're holding off. Hindi nila masyadong binibigyan priority yung alyansa with other countries. It's because it is something that we have to handle domestically muna bago ipasa sa iba. But what else can we do? Diba? I don't know. Ako, ang hirap ng trabaho ni PBBM. Buti na lang, hindi ako si Presidente. Ang hirap ng trabaho niya, guys.
Emphasize here is that, yes, China's bullying behavior is a big headache. But that doesn't mean that you should just give in. Hasn't the Philippines tried to be friendlier with China? And what was the result? According to
Nothing.
a 2023 survey,
Nothing
79% of Filipinos consider China the biggest threat to the
Yung ilan to? 21%. Yung 21%, yan yung mga DDS na yan. Mga DDS na yan, yung 21% yan na hindi pumahayag dito sa biggest threat si China. Mga DDS na yan. Pero baka bumaba na ngayon kasi 16% na lang sila according ka Okta.
Philippines and support President Marcos' firm stance against China's provocations. Another survey showed that 67% of Filipinos express almost no trust or no trust at all toward China. It's basically the same as dealing with a schoolyard bully. If we all stick together and stand against the bully as a united front, then the giant bully isn't so scary anymore. But if you choose to take the bullying by yourself over and over without fighting back, well, we'll just have to see how much you can take. If you find this video...
Yun. Sinabi rin ni ate yung sinabi ko kanina. How far can we take this? Gaano katagal? How far can we take this? Yung ganyang klaseng abuse. Di ba? Hanggang gaano katagal natin kayang tiisin at pagpigilan ng ating mga sarili. Alam niyo mga kotsero, to some degree, feeling ko na-threaten din si China sa mga sinabi ni General Browner. Naalala niyo nung nagpunta nung nagkaroon nung pag-atake nga yung China, naputulan ng daliri yung isa sa ating mga Marines. Nagsalita si General Browner. Pag inulit nyo yan, haharapin namin kayo. Kung anong force ang ibibigay nyo, yun din ang gagawin namin. Di ba yun ang sinabi? Yun ang sinabi ni General Browner. Anong nangyari pagkatapos nun? Nagpa-call ng meeting si China sa DFA. Nagpa-meeting si China sa DFA. Anong sinabi ng China sa DFA ng Pilipinas? Mga ma'am sir, pag-usapan natin yung nangyari noong nakaraan. Baka gusto nyong upuan. Diba? Ganun eh. Ganun yung nangyari eh. So I think I think si China is all bark no bite. Kasi marami silang iniisip eh. Marami silang kailangang alagaan. O, inaalagaan nila yung kanilang imahe, inaalagaan nila yung kanilang yung pananaw ng ibang bansa sa kanila. 'Di ba? Iniisip nila yung kung paano ba natin masasakop tong bansa na ito na hindi natin ginigera. 'Di ba yung cognitive warfare nga? I also find it interesting na pumutok tong issue sa Skoda habang lumalakas yung ingay sa Davao at sa mga kaalyado ni Digonggong. Lumalakas yung ingay nila tungkol sa drug test, yung kay Sara Duterte, etc. Parang parang hinahati yung atensyon ng mga Pilipino. 'Di ba? Parang ganoon yung nangyayari. Hinahati yung atensyon ng Pilipino, hindi muna tumutok sa West Philippine Sea. Tutukan muna si Sara Duterte. Tutukan muna yung pagdadrugs daw ni PBBM. Tapos nangyari yung sa Skoda. Parang parang may ganong anggulo ba? Hindi ko confirm, pero parang may ganong klaseng anggulo na dinidistract tayo ng China. At ginagamit nila yung issue ng pagdadrugs daw ni PBBM. Kasi it's very timely eh. Nung pumutok yung issue ng nung naputulan ng daliri yung isa sa mga Marines ng Pilipinas. Tapos nagsalita si General Browner. Ano nangyari pagkatapos? Lumabas yung pulburon video na peke. Tingnan nyo tingnan nyo yung nangyari. Lumabas yung pulburon video na peke. Nung mainit na yung conversation. Dinivert nila dun yung kwentuhan. O di hindi nga naman masyado napansin yung kawalanghiyaan ni China. Tapos ngayon, nagkaka-issue ngayon kay Sara Duterte, nagkaka-issue uli dun sa drug test, nagkaka-issue sa Pogo, etc. etc. Baka nga sa Japa yung kay Alice Go eh. We're already bordering on conspiracy theories ha. Pero ako, iniisip ko, hindi ko maiwasan palang isipin na baka yung pagtakas, quote-unquote, ni Alice Go ay sinadya para doon nakatutok ang atensyon ng mga Pilipino habang unti-unting sinasakop ng China ang Skoda show. Kaya kailangan talaga hindi mo sila tanggalan ng atensyon. Para silang bata na makukulit. Kailangan lagi ka nakabantay. Alam niyo mga kochero, that our Philippine Coast Guard, our military need all the support we can get. Oo. At expect pa natin na mas iingay lalo yung mga sinasabi ng China. Gagamit yan ng mga influencer dito sa Pilipinas, gagamit ng mga eksperto dito sa Pilipinas, gagamitin si SMNI, gagamitin mga kaalyado ni Digonggong. Lahat ng yan gagamitin ni China para ma-divert yung attention natin. At isipin natin na magulat na lang tayo one morning, uy, andyan na ang China. Oo, hindi na sila umaalis ng Skoda. Pero siguro right now, ang pinakamagandang tulong na pwede nating ibigay dito sa West Philippine Sea ay ikalat ang kabalbalan ng China. Tayo na mismo mag-share. Pag may lumabas na balita tungkol sa pang-aabuso ng China, kalat natin, paingayin natin talaga. Oo, paingayin natin talaga. Tapos yung mga kumukontra, wag na naman natin i-bash, pero questionin natin kung bakit nila ginagawa yun. For example, itong sa issue na Skoda, sobrang ingay ni Bobby Tiglao, di ba? Gigil na gigil siya kay PBBM. Distraction eh. Alam niyo kung bakit? It's again, yung ginagawa ni Bobby Tiglao, it's a bait and switch tactic. Ang issue, mga kutsero, yung hindi makatarungang pag-occupy ng China dyan sa Escoda Shoal. Anong ginawa ni Bobby Tiglao? Sinisi niya si PBBM doon sa nangyari sa Escoda Shoal. Bakit? Hindi ba dapat expected kapag Pilipino ka, kakampihan mo yung bansa mo? Expected na yun eh. It's called patriotism. It's called nationalism. Instead na yun ang ginawa niya, ang ginawa ni Bobby Tiglao, binash si PBBM. Bakit hindi niya sinabi, PI na China to, ang titigas na mga mukha nyo, bakit kayo nandrito? Bakit nyo binabangga yung aming Coast Guard ship dyan? Ganyan. Hindi yun ang sinabi niya. Ang sinabi niya, nawala ng Escoda dahil kay PBBM. Nawala na nga ba? Andun pa ang Teresa Magbanwa, diba? Ayaw umalis. Tinutulak na nga eh. Alam niyo ba na meron daw tugboat doon sa Escoda? Ano bang purpose ng tugboat? O di manghila ng barko? Manghila at magtulak ng barko. One of these days, mga kutsero, expect nyo yan. Ang mga tugboat ng China gagalaw dyan sa Escoda Shoal. Ito-tow nila yung BRP Teresa Magbanwa. Maniwala kayo. At yun na yung umpisa ng invasion ng China doon. So paano tayo makakatulong sa AFP, sa ating Philippine Coast Guard? Kung hindi man tayo magpa-participate sa physical na labanan, makipagbakbakan tayo sa cognitive warfare. Kasi obviously, yun na ang binibira sa atin ngayon ni China. Usapin ng kwento, usapin ng kwentuhan, usapin ng narrative. So doon tayo makipagbakbakan. Kasi nandun sila eh. Nandun yung ingay eh. Alam niyo mga kutsero, I think, kasi dati, di ba, ang ingay-ingay ng mga dilawan sa Twitter. Ang Twitter, hindi na siya dilawan. Hindi na siya dilawan place. Ang Twitter ngayon sa DDS na. So, siguro, some of us should be there. Actually, meron na mga iba na nandun na. Naipagbakbakan na sila sa fake news. Diyan, yung mga China propaganda dyan sa Twitter. Naipagbakbakan na sila dun. Ako hindi ako pang Twitter eh. Dito ko talaga ako sa YouTube eh. Hindi ko lang ba't dito ko dinala ng Panginoon. Pero dito talaga ako sa YouTube eh. So, hindi ako pang Twitter. Ang ugali ko hindi pang Twitter eh. So, dito ako sa YouTube maipagbakbakan. Yung mga kaya maipagbakbakan sa sa social media. Kailangan kailangan harapin na natin yung kasinungalingan ng China. Kasi the only way we can fight off China, at least dito sa issue ng West Philippine Sea, ay sa pamamagitan ng pagtatama ng mga maling sinasabi ng China tungkol sa West Philippine Sea. That's it. Wala nang iba eh. Wala nang iba. So I hope na i-share niyo yung mga videos ng mga pinapainggan niyo na pro-Philippines, totoong pro-Philippines, hindi yung katulad ni Sara Duterte, mapagpanggap. Ayan, so mga kutsera, maraming po salamat sa inyong patuloy na pagsuporta sa ating channel. Huwag niyo po kalimutan mag-like, mag-share, at mag-subscribe sa ating Coach Rad YouTube channel. Pa-follow tayo sa ating Facebook page para lagi yung updated sa mga ganap sa aking channel. And I'll see you in our next live stream. God bless you next time, guys. Bye! Pag ganun, huwag natin gawing tanga mga Pilipino. Mas maganda kasi nasa lugar ka ng tama kaysa yung pinipilit mo yung pagkakamali. Are they willing to go that far? Hindi makakalimutan ng Pilipino yan hanggat di nasasagot yan. Sino ngayon nagsasabi ng totoo?